absorption and control by the sellers. March 28, 2026 session. Lack of buyers since December 19th. Those buyers offset by the sellers. Conclusion. This crypto appears like many cryptos in the market. I believe this data is heavily indicating the market needs to come down more. We really only see these things when we are willing to zoom out and get a bird's eye, fresh view of the market. Okay, so what we're seeing is high volume, up bars, up moves, only by the professionals in the areas where we need to see them. Okay, and when we see them, we can reclassify some of these areas, such as area B and C. And one of the things I've been teaching you guys a lot last year and this year is the principles of absorption and control. Okay, the principles of absorption and control. What that means is that if you guys are comparing these areas together, where the selling happens, when you see those sellings, okay, make sure it's all in the right area approximately. Yeah, it's about right. Okay. We can see the relationship overall. And what the relationship we're viewing tells us the story. In this case, from area A to B and C, we have a scenario that looks like this. A, B, C. And we're decreasing at the challenge area, which is the VZB. So that means we need to pay attention who's playing, because whoever's playing there is absorbing the control of the flow, absorbing and controlling the floating supply. Okay, they're winning. This team, whoever the team is, it's winning. In this case, we're calculating for the sellers. So we can see that the sellers have bearish absorption / control. The sellers are winning. Okay, does that make sense? So it's not so hard to see that this crypto should be coming down. Absorption control by the sellers from March 2021 to July 2025. A larger game. March 28, 2026 session. Lack of buyers since December 19th. Those buyers are offset by the sellers. So even of the initial money that came in, these guys cancel it out over time. So we have a reset of the game. Okay, we have a reset of the game. And we are looking, therefore, for more new money coming in. And we're going to look for when these guys start losing money. So they paid some of these prices way down here. They're still okay. They still didn't really lose money. I talked about this in my last session. So I'm not looking for this to go super low right now. I'm not looking for that. Although it's going to be important, I am going to be looking more locally for this to take place. And that's 042. Okay. I am going to be looking for that JSON target to be hit. 044039. Current price is 08. So we're still looking at a big drop that's very likely approximately in the near future. It's just 111%. Okay, so I only got those guys coming in. Now I got a bar with wicks on both sides. If I had this bar right here on high volume, I'd be looking at that as a shakeout. So I'm gonna go just a little bit, zoom in, and then I'm gonna show you one more thing. Okay, so of the money, and yeah, that's about right where it should be, where the shakeout bar is at. So this is a bit bearish. Okay, and it's on the up bar, up move. So this is going to be more signs that you should be going down. This is one I would feel more safer to short compared to some of the other ones we looked at today. Okay, shakeout. And shakeouts are continuation indication. Okay, so the down move should theoretically resume. Okay, that's how that works. And I think longer term, I'm just going to draw this straight. And the foundation is pretty muted. Okay, it's not so sharp, it's not so severe, and it's got a verification somewhere here in October 2025. Now, the dissipating part is that we're going this way. So you can see that we're ice cream cone shape out. So let's track that as well, so we can get an idea. Okay, but right now it's somewhere here. Okay, and I think that's all I really want to share with this. So I'm more comfortable. This is going to be shakeout indication, and it was also selling because it was on the up bar. Okay, so we got selling in the background, selling locally. We're close to those areas. I'm okay with the short. I'm okay starting to short this crypto. Okay, and then let's just write one more report from today. What is this? HBAR April 1st, 2026. I am okay with a short at this area. This is because structurally I am moving below a support, and in the background I see 3 areas of large selling, including a local area of selling. Of that longer term, I also see absorption / control by sellers. So this is very confident. This is going to give us a high degree of confidence that prices should be gravitating lower. This gives a very high degree of confidence that HBAR should be playing lower longer term, and the short term is more in alignment, and the short term moves are in alignment with this. Okay, so that's why I like to combine the short term and the long term. Okay, I am looking to hit the JSON target of 0.04446 to 0.0392. Any questions? Okay, so let's put this on the board, and I'm going to put HBAR previous. Okay, do it right for HBAR. Okay, I'm shorting HBAR. I'll feel more comfortable with the short at this juncture because of that. Let's look at BNBLION. Okay, this is one of the ones that's not on the major exchanges. So we're going to use the contract address that was sent to me to look at this. And we'll try to, I want to use Coinbase. CoinMarketCap. Yeah. There we go. Okay. That's logarithmic. Is it? It doesn't look logarithmic, doesn't it? There's no difference here. That's weird. Is it giving me a glitch for some reason? It's not showing logarithmic. No. Okay, well, guess that is. Now, very concerning. Let's do one more thing. Try. Okay. The high volume is only on what? The up bar up move into weakness. We come down because there's no players. Lack of interest only. When we come up, and that means that was selling. That was confirmed. And it's confirmed here. Pay attention to where it happened. Does that make sense? What happens here? Ultra high volume. Let's draw our foundational area. And it ain't looking good for the foundational area. Approximately. We have somewhat of a hope, and that's the flat. Somewhere here. Let's draw that again. And our energy centers. Approximately there. So it's somewhere around here. And it's just about a flat. Okay, so we'll get that price because we don't have the price. But it's whatever price this was. When we went up, ultra high volume, but those moves are into local weakness. Both on very high volume on the up bar. So we're talking here and here of the selling. Now, what does it mean locally when the volume is getting smaller at the control areas or the areas where the battle is supposed to happen? A, B. What does that mean? Okay, we go into weakness with that in the background. What does that mean? You guys remember? Anybody? I taught it many times last year, taught it a couple times today. Anybody want to try? No? Okay. This means absorption and control has taken place. This means one team is winning. And the team we're calculating for is the sellers. So the sellers are winning at this point. Okay, does that make sense? They're winning. They have control. We compare them to this previous area. In this previous time, we increase. So they don't have full control or absorption right here. So coming up to here is not out of the blue. It's not unheard of. Okay. We still may be looking there. But you need to see when that takes place. Okay. If it takes place. We come down again on lack of interest into health. And as I mentioned at the beginning of today's session, if you do come up to if you come into health, but there was no buying in the background, it's like you're getting invited to prom by the really good looking guy who's probably a 10 and out of your league. And he's choosing you not because you're beautiful, but because there's no options left. You get invited to the prom not because you're something special, but because he's settling for the bottom of the barrel. As crude as that sounds. There's cryptos that go up because there's just no players. So the market's naturally gonna find a balance. But when that happens, you're looking for weak bounces only. Weak, look for, and I taught all this last week many times. Weak bounces only. So you can do target system, and you can do Fibonacci. You're looking for those types of things. And this is that weak bounce right here. This is that. Okay, it's a very weak bounce. We come back down, and then we get more selling. Okay, be a line. It's being dumped. Okay, so you got selling. No money, you're only going up on lack of interest, which is weak bounce only. Did we come down? And if you can, you want harmony too, by the way. So you want those down moves to start ever so slightly increasing. And that's a little bit of a good sign here to the downside. It's good. and high volume on those up bars into weaknesses, which may be this one. I'd be very leery right now of this, okay, because I don't have the accumulation. So in short, there's no money to sustain this run, to sustain, I should say, a large bullish run. It's just not there. Do you guys understand that? It's just not there. You're fighting with these guys. They haven't fully won, but locally they did. That's all that's really happening. Okay. Do I need to go this a little bit further? BNB line. Do you guys have any questions about this? Okay. I'd be looking at the low, this number on the board. The number is 19 zeros, 2. Okay, so 19Z2. Okay, that's probably my best guess where we're going next. Okay, if you want to short that, you need to do it at the prop 2 times. You need to cut that and then take the short. Okay, but my bet is that's what my money would be on. But for some reason, it doesn't look like logarithmic is working, but the volume's still telling us the same story. Okay, so we can say that BNBLION, April 1st, 2026, this crypto has only large selling in the background. Local absorption in the last year, local absorption / control last year by sellers. This means sellers are winning. Prices moved down into health on lack of interest only. This means no bearish players were available. But when this happens, it is often weak bounces in the opposite direction only. And this was the case. And this also on high volume up bars into which are often more selling. I am looking for BNBLION to hit the low flat at 0.19 zeros. And the 19 zeros, what was it again? 19 zeros, 10 approximately. Area. Longer term. Okay. I think that's what I wanted to say for that one. We're going to look at the DXY, which I think we looked at really recently. So, what does happen? The DXY is $1, and we get some big clues about what's going on with the dollar. And the DXY doesn't have any volume, but structurally, I was sent some images this morning, very early, by one community member. And Crypto Galaxy, remember, this is never a financial investment or trading device of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, comedic purposes only. I had red crayons for breakfast. Trading in the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high level trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. Yeah, I would say I probably wouldn't have created this line right here at that time, but you can in hindsight due to maybe some of the stuff in the middle, this top, and then especially now. So if you drew this as a key angle, you'd be like, oh, maybe that was that part of that. So definitely a strong line. If anything, you're in the general ballpark for this one. Now you're looking at a 6-month chart. So this is some very strong stuff. What you're showing is that if this dollar loses its support, we'd be looking to probably fall down, probably to the parabolic, the mid phantom. And that's what I'd be looking at too. What you'd want to see if you're going to continue going up, you want to see high volume on the down moves. If we had volume, you'd be looking for that. If you saw high volume on these down moves, you'd want to go up. Okay. And then you'd also want to be looking for bullish harmony. You want to see these up moves increasing as well in volume in relationship to each other. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Here's a look at the 12-month on the dollar. And you got that parabolic there. I'd probably want to see if you can connect all these and then put them at the top, and just going to see where that resistance is. So probably somewhere right here in the sky. Here you got one euro. Now you're looking at the euro on a 6-month. You got this nice parabolic. That's a foundational area I'd probably be looking at. Yep. The bottom's got a little bit of a verification. So you're looking to get above there to give you your big sign that euro should be going up. And then that if euro was going up and US dollar was going down, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be buying euro USD. That's the pair. And you do got some volume when you put them as a pair, the euro USD. Okay, so you'd be looking for this to go up. You'd need to isolate the EXY. So let's see so the EXY at a resistance, yeah, going down. So if this is going to go down, then you wouldn't want to trade both of them if they go down. But if you think this one's going to go up and you think you're going to get the breakout for euro, then you would want to buy euro US dollar. So that'd be a good sign. That's what you would want to look for. But you probably need to break out. Now you do got some volume on the pair. So this is going to be a big clue. But right now you just have the resistances, and we didn't map out what's really happening. If you do go up here and you break above maybe 114 on the dollar, you're like, oh, okay, the dollar is going up. And then if on the euro you're cracking against this resistance, you're start coming down, especially if you get the weakness, connect those lines. If you get those weaknesses over the next years, then you definitely want to be thinking, like, if that's the case, you're going to short the euro US dollar, whatever's in the first position. Okay. But if you think you're going to lose the dollar, it's going to lose the support, then and this is going to go up, then you want to buy euro USD. So let's now look at the volume, put them together, and see what more is likely to be the case. Okay, so let's see if we can put some of these stories together. Now, recently, since 2007, we got a lot of data that's been available to us. And let's see if I can just pull. Let me first give you a better clue about what we're going to do. I'm just going to click. I'm not going to spend too much time doing this because I did this not so long ago, very recently. But this is dollar. So dollar on its own, is it going up? Is it going down? And we can see dollars at a support. This is on a 2-week chart. So this is more recently. And then longer term, we can do some of that stuff you were looking at. But here's on a 2-month chart. So we can see there's been some health. But we'll know because these areas are pretty tight comparatively. So we're kind of know if the dollar's going to be weak. Probably here in these areas. It's probably going to be about where we're looking at. And I got a wick match, and the wick match has this range that's from all the way to up there. So I'm going to use that same thinking on the bottom. If you have a range on top, tack it on the bottom. And for us, that's going to be down here. So really things can get quite messy. And until we're really below 96, we really shouldn't be going down super much, although you can get a bit messy. But that's definitely something I'm looking at. And then I got another support right now, 97, 98. Current price is 99. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on the board for what's in play. And I don't have volume, so I can't confirm what's going on right now. We do have some RSI that you can use for momentum and things. We got a little bit of a pull back from these areas. It's about the same. And price is just a little bit less. So there should be some down movement. And that's probably going to be why we have this big down movement here. You can see that the RSI was higher. price was lower, but the RSI was a bit higher than the previous time. That's a good pullback. So these pullbacks here, and then we come up again, is about where we're going. But it doesn't show that we're super off course for this that I can see. Or it also doesn't show us where RSI price base and due for a large rise either. And that's on a 2-month chart. So I'm going to leave that where it's at and just say, hey, we are at a support, and this can go up right now. This is very likely to be the case. So I'm not going to make any big predictions right now because this is messy. But that's for that. Let's go to the EXY, and then finally after this we'll conclude. So on the EXY, it's a little bit different. On a 2-month chart, I got this. I got a breakout. So overall, I'm looking for the EXY to be a little bit bullish. And this may be where we differ in our opinion, at least here. So I'm looking for the breakout, and you're at a top right now. Okay, so that's probably where we're going to be a bit different. Here's you're looking down, but I'm looking very long term. I'm looking at the straight, and I'm seeing this is going to be a little bit of a battle here rather than a parabolic. And I do have logarithmic on. Of this, I'm not fully convinced we're going straight to the sky. This was a very powerful vortex, and you can see we broke above it. Okay, this is the vortex from the bottom and the top, and we're just like in that pocket and bouncing out of that pocket. So that's actually a very good sign that euro wants to be strong to the top side based on the market. Okay, I'm not talking politics. I'm not talking the stuff that's in society, because this game takes long. These games are played out over several years, and most news is temporary anyway. I'm talking about the structures that built up for years. Here's 2008, way back. So more bullish than anything this at the moment. We don't have, I'd probably be looking at the old highs, and then I'll probably want to extend out the range. So I got 120. I'm going to extend out this range a little bit to where the kind of wicks are matching. So somewhere about here it should be a roof, and there's going to be a bigger health probably once we clear this area. It's likely what we're looking at. I like to calculate for event line. Event line is the last event that happens when we move into health. So if I'm bringing myself in that direction, the last thing that happened was here. So if we take that angle and we calculate it as the event, it's a type of key angle. And let's just try to wick match a lot of the stuff because it's the Forex. I'm going to bring this to the top side. I should be getting resistance right here, and that's exactly what's happening. So yeah, price is going up here only and then coming back down. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Probably draw our next sword cut to the top side, and we'll just borrow this one right at the cut, and there we go. So 113. Okay, so I'm looking at 113 as more of a support. Current price is 116. We've almost already hit that general area, and the top is still around 120, and we already hit that area too. So I really want to get above on the top side. Let's go to 125. Oh, sorry, 125 to 120, and that's going to put me about the ballpark that I'm looking at. Okay, so that's just about everything we want to see. That's an old one. All right, so I'm going to say this in my report. EXY is bullish longer term, and what was that, like a 1 month chart? DXY is bear. What was DXY? Let's look at our photo real quick. And the dollar was bullish longer term. Wait, no. Yep. But at a support. So it's still bullish. DXY is at a support at the moment. and still bullish. Okay, so that means, and that's a 1 month chart, that means you're not going to squeeze too much out of this one. Okay, at the moment. If you had one that was really weak, that's probably where you'd want to pair one of those. Of the two, the euro looks the stronger at the moment. Okay. These are both headed in the same direction, which means you're going to be looking at some probably not big changes between euro USD longer term. So now we look at them as a pair, we can extract some volume. So if I go euro USD, and let's go to the monthly chart. Okay. High level multi-touch, flat. Why is this green? Should be blue. Okay, MTF. Monthly. Yeah, I don't use L, high level multi-touch. I should have put F at the end of that so you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So you can understand multi-touch flat. Top. Okay, so now we got the euro USD together. Okay, and when we look at it together, we can grasp some of the larger outcomes what's really taking place. And one of the things we can see is that there's a breakout. So we want to look for bullish pushing, and we'd also want to look for accumulation on the downside. That'd be great. That's what we'd love to see. So let's look at the volume. Oh, I don't got it on forex.com. That's not going to help. Wanda? FXCM? Better. Okay, so we got FXCM. And I'm having, we might also have a wick match here too, concerning a reverberation area. So we should have resistance where we said 119, and that's basically where we're having. So the next real breakout is still above 119, but we can use this chart for the volume. So this is now the euro USD together, and we got some larger story out here too. So this is the euro USD, and let's simplify some of this stuff. Larger weakness in this area, sword cut, big range, resistance 1, resistance 2. I want to see increase in volume at this point to let me know that there still should be another challenge. If the volume, now that we're back here, is higher from A, B, and C, I'm looking for the breakout. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. I haven't looked at it. I'll show you it again so you can see if we're right. That'd be great. But this is where we're reading. Now that we're here, we can actually read. So if I get increase, I know that absorption and control by the sellers has not taken place because of the increase in volume. Okay, if A, B, and C, I'm not winning, the sellers are not winning, if that's the case. So we don't know if. Okay, so that's scenario number 1. But if we see the volume decreasing, okay, if I see the volume decreasing at A, B, and C, A, B, and C, I know that absorption / control by the sellers has taken place. And that means the sellers are winning. So this one would be sellers win, and we're looking for price to go down. And this would be sellers lose. This equals sellers lose. Price goes up. Okay, because we're calculating for the sellers at the sword cut area. So this is scenario number 1. And this is scenario number 2. Because we don't know. So if, that's how we're going to read this. So those are the 2 scenarios that can happen. Which one is it? We don't know. We're going to look right now. Number 1 or number 2. Okay, so let's see who's winning and get a good idea of what side the euro should break to. Let's give myself just a few more candles. 2-month chart, simplify things. And you guys tell me. Okay. All right, let me hide my lines to simplify this. I'm reading here, here, and here, approximately the groupings of those candles. So we can say A, B, C. Both of those have these down. So if you're saying, how do we read that? You can just read them like this too. The volume is equal, okay, which is a bit neutral. So not scenario 1 or number 2, but number 3. Neutral. Now, if we're saying we need to read this a little bit more carefully. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit more battle and then we're going to see things be clear. Okay, I'm going to see a little bit more battle and things get clear. So we cannot use this scenario. And that's not how you spell it. That's neutral, right? Neutral. Is that how you spell neutral? I only know how to spell the old one, not the new one. The neutral. I only know how to spell the old trail. Okay, so we might be looking for another battle. Okay, it's NE. Okay, thank you. All right. Now, Crypto Galaxy, let's read just one more time what might be taking place here. So we have high volume up bar. We continue going up. The volume's decreasing. So we get a little bit of lack of interest. This is telling us some important information. Lack of interest on the up move. Then we also have another time of lack of interest. And this might give us the clues that we're looking for. It's going to be here in this up move. And there's another up move that might give us the clue. It's this one from here to here. And there's another one, but this one's on the down move. And then I'm going to look at these increases and I'm going to tell you all what they mean. Okay. And then we can use the harmony to let me know what's really happening. So if you don't get the clue that you're looking for, if you don't see the clues you're looking for, you can use harmony to let you know something else that might be happening. And I'm going to reveal to you what's happening. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I think is happening. So here we can see from the down move, and let's just break it apart real quick because this is another interpretation of price data. And then we're going to break apart the up moves and the down moves. Okay. So of this up move, the market is about here. When we go down for the next down move after number 2, the market slightly increases. And this means it wants bearish prices. We know this because the increase in volume is this is bearish harmony. Okay, these two areas. It's increase. See the volume? You want that. Now, although we came down here initially, they didn't want it. When we do get it, it's a very large, again, increase. So we got bearish harmony all over this. Does that make sense? 3 points of bearish harmony. This is telling us generally the market wants to go down. So if the battle at the larger supply wasn't clear, that may take a while then. Price may find its way still doing things like that. Overall, we can still see bearish harmony is indicating the down move. So that's a big clue. Number 2, the other thing we can get from the same chart, and I'm going to type this in first. Larger bearish harmony. That may mean a big clue for euro. The other thing is that we got an up move right now on lack of interest. When we finally were here, they weren't interested in the up move. And that's a clue, in addition, what may be happening next in the market. So they don't want the bulls. The bears are getting strong, and the bulls are getting weaker. So that's a clue. If one fighter is getting tired and the other fighters seem to be getting even stronger, it may give you a clue about what's going to happen next. Bearish, bullish, lack of interest. That means no bullish or little bullish players, okay? Or not enough bullish players. So that's a little bit of a clue. So we can use, I love that there's multiple ways we can read volume, multiple layers to volume. All right, and then finally we get this large up move here with high volume on the up bar and we're only consolidating still under the flat. But the move up is just on decreasing volume. And this is another clue for the lack of bullish players, because we're supposed to have the up move and we don't have this. So this indicates there's no bullish harmony as well. So we got lack of interest twice. When we did go up, nobody wanted to play. When we went up again, nobody wanted to play. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so this is a clue that prices are more likely to fall. If I had to bet, the euro is going to be weak against the dollar. If I had to bet, reading this volume right now. Okay. So I'm going to write this in my report. And we can write euro, USD, how much 2-month chart. April 1st, 2026. Locally, or in the past few years, let's see. Today we read volume from the breakdown in almost the year 2015. And we can see the sword cut has been respected. The volume at the challenge area is still about the same. And this is neutral to, this is a neutral. So it does not indicate a large breakout at this time above $1.19. The structure is still bearish as price is rejecting under it. But now the foundational line is aiding, just as it did in 2020. Okay, what I mean by that so far is this guys came to play and help the sword cut in 2020. But the key angle reverberation is also here to help play. One brought the market really down. I think this is still not the breakout. Okay. 2025. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's continue. So as it did in 2020. So that is still not bullish. So if you had no reasons to short it, you would at least not have a reasons to want to be bullish. Okay, until things are in health. Finally, we examined the harmony and saw that prices were increasing in volume on the down moves and also starting to show some selling / stopping volume on the up move, but also two areas of up moves on lack of bullish interest. So therefore, if we combine all of these data together, we paint a bearish picture. Do I have any other questions? Okay. Should I take away the parabolic on my chart? No, you can leave it. I'd also draw the straight. Okay. You can leave it. You might see something there that I don't see. Okay. I'm just showing you what I see. Okay. This is one that's more complicated than others. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Euro USD. Okay. All right. All that's left is just to give you guys the recap that was not recorded. And it will be. Okay. I'm going to now recap these images. And then we're going to end our session. Okay. Oh, did I have a question? Sure. After this session. Okay. Okay. Can you show the EXY again? Yes. Okay, here's my EXY chart. Okay. Bullish breakout, EXY, 1 month chart. Okay. We need to clear these other areas. Okay, it's not a super big bullish breakout, but it's a nice area. And we're going to want to have high volume down bars, so we can probably isolate some more areas like that. Here's another look at the Euro USD, but not the Euro. So that's the EXY. Okay, got it? Any other questions? Okay. Okay. All right, let's look at these images. I'm going to show you the USDT.D for today. Today we're here at 7.89. And as again I said, I'm okay once we clear these areas, like primarily in white on the, what is this, daily chart? 3-day chart? 3-day chart. I'm okay with coming down. I want to stay above these areas. Yesterday we stopped exactly there. Today we're still here. I'm looking for this to move up because of the market sentiment. I believe we're still to the upside. Okay, so that's Euro USD. Okay. I looked at a picture of SHX. We're now at the bottom phantom for the DP, and we're actually crashing below it. So when that happens, you want to double check your angles, make sure all the angles are correct, because you're like, oh, are we really breaking down or really breaking out? And this one could be maybe a little bit higher for the DP, but overall, that's going to be a good thing for this to come here. Still high volume on the up bars, a lot of selling coming down. A lot of people willing to trade. You also want to compare those areas to the last times you were here. And the last times we were here, we were about this volume, and there's a lot more volume. And that's not necessarily a good thing, because if you're comparing SHX bottom here to here, where there's a lot more people willing to trade at the lower price. This could be the beginnings of accumulation, but we need to have some health and some things to help with that. And the parabolics to the top side are going to be more out here, so you guys can extend those if you wanted to from this top side. That's going to be your foundational area. But we have evidence of professional selling. November, December, we want to see the buying. We want to see the money start coming in. Okay, we don't want to see us continue breaking down. My eyes are probably on the flat at 0035, 0033. So that's what I'm looking at next for SHX. We looked at Algorand, and I saw that we had some background field with professional selling. We saw small buying only in today's session. Small buying only, yet overall the move is still down on lack of interest, which is going to be no bear players available. We're going to look for a weak bounce. So that's up at the top. We had our initial stopping volume. This is going to be some of the stopping volume is going to be the thing that's going to slow us down. I put bear bullish, but it's actually should be bearish, because it's going to be the bears that kind of slow it down. People who are taking profit, a little selling, and also sometimes short selling. And then we have the large bounce of that. So we got a lot of professional selling in the background. It's on the up bar into the weakness area, enough to slow us down, enough to bring us down here. We're looking for the accumulation, but all they have right now is the bearish pushing to the next part of the down move. And when we come back up, you can see we went up to the 3.2 Fibonacci. When I did the target system, we went up to the first target. We went up to the delta target, and to the first target up here. Both were hit quite nicely. So all of that's in the background. Finally, as we continued on, when we hit those areas, we again had high volume up bars, which was more selling. When we came down, we also went down on lack of interest. And remember the principle I taught you guys today. Just because a crypto goes up, if there's no one that is invited, if you get invited to the prom and you go with the Prince Charming, the number 2s are going to start thinking that they're number 10s because Prince Charming is a 10. They get invited to the prom. They think there's someone, but it could be that there was only one girl in town, and that was you. There was just no one left to play with. The egos can be inflated because we think we're something, and really you need to understand the context. Markets will reverse when there's just no options. If there's no one willing to sell at those low prices, will naturally come down. When that happens, you're looking for weak bounces only. I did 3 tutorials in one session last week about this. And I want you guys to understand that's how it works. If you go into health on lack of interest, most of the time, those moves are going to be weak and unsustainable. Okay. You're going to be looking for these things to start coming back down. You want to pay attention carefully. If you move up with lack of interest or small buying, it's going to be a little bit of a net. So overall, it's weak bounce, but there's some buying. So we're looking for somewhat of a strong bounce. We get that bounce, but it's also followed on very high volume to the down move, and eventually those moves in foundational areas are broken. That lets us know in hindsight what's going on. Now, sometimes it's very clear. You can do it really quickly. Depends on the angle. This one's very muted. So it lets us know that there was a lot of selling that was actually taking place in Algorand. So the next things we look for is, okay, where are we right now? Right now, we're experiencing rejection underneath these areas. We should be coming down, but the down move is now starting to be stronger. Then if we look at this down move here, this down move is stronger than the last down move. So there's starting to be harmony. That means the market's starting to want to go lower. My money is going to be closer to 0.726. I'd be looking for us to come down just a little bit lower for Algorand in hindsight, looking at all of this. Plus, we have some local selling on the 1 monthly chart on the up move right before that all happened. So there's more selling that's taking place. And where's the new money coming in? I just don't see it. If we break apart Algorand on a weekly chart, we can see that the up move is also still with high volume. That means the professionals were dumping again, and there's more selling here that happened somewhere towards the end of 2025. Okay, towards the end. So I'm not super convinced by this up bar today on Algorand, or this week on Algorand. I'm still very bearish. I don't want to take bullish trades like this while everything's still bearish. Okay, that's very dangerous. I'm not that kind of trader, because if I'm not paying attention, I can get stuck in a bullish trade when everything in the background is telling me, why are you taking these trades? You should only be looking to short. Okay, we did a tutorial about the increasing, decreasing, which is absorption and control. And we found that this one example is more neutral, number 3. And we found 2 cryptos today that was quite neutral. The two things, and it was Euro USD was neutral at the challenge area, and this one, Algorand. Okay, there was local buying on a 3-day chart. That means some money coming in locally. It was right here on the down bar on a 3-day chart, and right there at the bottom, and that means consolidation. So weak bounce only. All right, you need some stronger health, and the foundational areas are still way up there. I did an end cut at 13 to 12, so somewhere around 1342 and 1289. Okay, a lot of effort going into these maps. Okay, I want you guys to try to recreate some of my work. All right, but yeah, this is basically where it is for algorithm. Local targets going to be somewhere overlapping the 13 to 12.89. So if I was taking a buy, I'd only want to be looking to closer to 12.89, and then I'm out. Okay, I'm out. There's too much still to the downside risk. Okay, I wouldn't be really, I'd just be sitting on my hands during downtrends. Just if the market's really bullish, I don't want to be shorting. I want to, if the market's coming down, I'm not shorting that. I'm just sitting on my hands. I looked at WikiCat today as the next crypto, and WikiCat had a breakout closer to March this month. So we finally got our breakout. So all of these come down the track. Last time it was 10 zeros E. We can just follow the track. And we had, looks like we had one more resistance before the breakout. And then I'm looking towards the high side. I'm looking at 6 zeros, 238 to 230. That's approximately the area. We did come back down to that vortex area, very close to 7034, which is what we talked about in our previous area. That was a very important vortex, and price often gets sucked into those vortexes when hovering over. And we put that back in January 16th, and here we are. Okay, so we get sucked down into that area, and then that means the parabolic that's overall for WikiCat is still being respected, and there's a larger parabolic that's on here. So you can see this is approximately the area where we should have got a bounce, and we did get a bounce. Okay, I said weakness was still in play back on January 3rd, but there was a strong vortex at that 732 area, 7032 area, 324. The date was around January 16th. At the time of the writing was January 3rd. The parabolic curve in yellow bottom has two verifications. That means we can stress the importance of this oscillation between the top and bottom. And if price builds above that area, as I wrote, if price builds above that number, it's very important. And if price bounces there, it's also very important. And so we did get a bounce, so that's important. So that's going to be a bit bullish for WikiCat. Okay, we measured the WikiCat in the volume, and we can see that this is the type of accumulation that I teach you guys to be looking for. You have high volume on the down move into health, the increase. And then when we challenge that area again, you can see the volume is still increased, but much deeper. That means that the bulls are having absorption / control. So this is how it looks to the upside. That's what you guys want. It's very rare. We don't really see this much. And this was on the monthly chart back in 2024. So you want to see a lot of that stuff. But in the crypto world, we've seen a lot of that to the opposite side. We're seeing that to the downside. And then we are seeing a lot of that. And then finally I went down to the monthly chart, and I showed you guys that on the up move, we're starting to see, if we compare the up, let me come back, the up moves, we got wider spreads. You can start seeing the spreads getting wider on this up move. And then the volume a little bit is increasing. We want to see that next. We want to see that increasing next to let us know we got bullish harmony. So I don't really have much of that bullish harmony just yet. I only have one bar for this up move into the health, really. But if you see that, that's what you're going to be looking for next. You're going to be looking for increasing spreads and increasing volumes on the up move, and this is a monthly chart, so that's what you're going to be looking for next, bullish harmony. In the meantime, we saw that when we did go down, they didn't want it. Okay, they didn't want the volume, they didn't want the move. It's on lack of bearish interest. So what they're saying is the bears don't want to play. They're thinking, this is too dangerous. The people who are taking profit, they don't want to play. They're like, we're not going to take profit on this down move, which means generally the market's going to move up. Okay, so you got the buyers in the background. You see them still wanting to play. There may be some profit taking here that was up there, but the down move is on lack of interest. So you're probably going to see them challenge again on higher for WikiCat. Looking at WikiCat a little bit more, we have one concern, and that's 4 weeks and no strong bullish harmony. This is concerning. 4 weeks in, the volume 4 weeks in should see the volume higher, or as the high as the previous bullish action. This is WikiCat getting tired. Market sentiment is changing. A slowdown is needed. This is a major clue that price may be moving up on lack of interest. I looked at here a monthly chart. We only got one, but if you look carefully, we had this much of a bull run. Okay, it was approximately here, and you can see the volume was really high, right? But then we come up again, especially as we're getting near these highs. Okay, near the course, we're going up again. It's 4 weeks in. Where's the money? Where's the money? This tells us that the clue that we're looking for, we need to see some bullish harmony. We're not really seeing it. And this may be, therefore, if we move into a weakness, this may be a sign that there was possibly some profit taking and selling. Now, we don't have that because the foundational area is still here, so we can't read this yet. But we do have high volume on those up bars. If we come up again to those areas, but now no one wants to play, and we've seen very little volume, then that means that the sellers are actually absorbing and winning WikiCat too. Now, there's still a long time for that. This is a weekly chart. But right now, my money's on this. 624. 6 zeros, 24. 6 zeros, 24 for WikiCat, conservatively. So this is concerning. 4 weeks in should see volume higher or as high as the previous bullish action. This is WikiCat getting tired. Market sentiment changing. A slowdown is needed. Major clue that price may be moving up on lack of interest. Up on lack of interest. No bullish players. Therefore, I am looking for WikiCat to slow down. And I'll be watching the conservative flat at 6024. So that's my big takeaway. Although there's a bullish fight in this longer term, when we can see the battle, the next clues we have is that we really need to reject probably at 24. Okay, otherwise we need to challenge again this area on increase in volume to let us know we still want more fight. But as it is, it's probably going to come and battle for down here, because the last time was lack of interest. So we're only going up not because we're good looking, but because the cute guy invited us to the prom, not because we're a 10, but because there was no one left in school to ask for, to go on a date with. Okay, so he picked us because there's just no other options. That's what it means when you start moving up, but lack of interest. It does not necessarily mean that the crypto is strong. It just means there's no players left. So you want to watch the game start to slow down and do certain things. And right now we're going up as well, but where's the players? I don't really see them to the upside. And we should have already started to see that increase. And I see very little increase. So my money's on 624, and then I'm going to stop trading bullishly WikiCat. That's how I would do that. Okay. And then finally I looked at Brett. And I got Brett to the downside. Absorption / control of the floating supply. You can see the volume at these areas. Here locally, you can see that strong decrease in the volume right there on the up bar, on the white one. And so there's a local control of the floating supply to the downside. Prices in the downtrend still. It's very strong, still in the downtrend. With selling in the background, we had some strong selling in the background, which we know about. So we want to see when this is being accumulated, and I don't have it right now. My next safer support is probably 0049, 0047. So I would stop shorting approximately there. I'd probably be still holding on to my shorts. There, we recently had some signs of local buying, and we see by consolidation. It does not mean they're winning. Right now, price is on the underside of that. So they just lost that consolidation. That was their chance to try to bring it up. They lost it. Too risky to the bulls. Okay, bears are still in power here. Okay, the lower support 004, the top 008. That's a widespread, as I mentioned in today's session. Brett has local buying only, yet larger structural weaknesses. No moves into health. Because of that, I would not short Brett at the moment. There's too much fight. I'd only hold on to my short, but I wouldn't enter the short. There's too much fight. Current price is 0.0061, and I believe some NDP support at 0.0049. That's that one in red with white border, 0047. This crypto has very wide spreads on average. The next local resistance, AL, the accelerated adjustment line, you can draw it in white. Okay, if you wanted to draw your accelerated line, connect these tops. Okay, and that's how we got the white line, 00852. Is above at 0.0085, and the next low phantom 0042. I would wait another week to re-examine this to see what the volume reveals. Okay, so if I'm up on high volume, I want to be looking to the downside. But right now, I would only hold probably until the support. Okay, all right, and I think that's all I had for Brett. So that's going to cover all today. And Lily, you wanted me to show you the picture of, what was it? NUM? We looked at NUM just this past week, so let's read what we did this week. NUM. Previous descriptor had large up move that I do not trust. Price rose and rejected off the strong target. However, making a large bullish run are non-existent in this data. I cannot see it. This means an up move may be a lot like Luna Classics. Up move and shakeout, a false bullish breakout. I'd rather be wrong and price move up without me than take the up move without a strong reason. I do not see large players entering bullish positions. I see much professional selling. Caution is required. See, we went up. Where was the accumulators? Who was buying this? We come up, come right back down. Okay, and I did a tutorial about how dangerous this kind of stuff is. Okay. The next one we see, so I showed you guys how this, no professional accumulation. We come to the downside, and now we're here, and the volume is really high off the chart, but we're in the wrong area. So this is not a good place to do without professional accumulation in the background. And see, large exiting, quick, smart players exiting appropriate area, psychological average. This is the DP on top. Retail only entered this down move since October 2025, the dumb money. Okay. This was selling. Look, last selling was back in February, around the 17th, right there. You can see there's the volume bar. There's the selling. Okay. And yeah, so I don't trust these moves right now. Current price is 0032. I really just don't trust this area. These guys are in profit. There's a local buy that was here, and we move up to this area. This is an important area. So maybe bullish fake out on this at the bar for that day. The structure is bearish. The downtrend is still in play. We're still under the flat. Professional selling possible. It's unconfirmed. So the selling at this area is unconfirmed. So we don't want to take any shorts until you can confirm an up move into weakness. Okay, so that's something you want to do. Unconfirmed shakeout candle. And this is also unconfirmed shakeout. Okay, so if I'm just only buying right now these up bars on high volume, all I'm doing is chasing a candle. I'll say that again. If I buy this right now, all I'm doing is chasing a candle. This is my data from Monday. Because I don't have the large buy needed to sustain a move like this. At the very least, I need health. Does that make sense, guys? You're going to get yourself in big trouble if you're buying at the tops or chasing at these markets. It's better to have these kind of moves move without you, because there's a lot of people that are chasing this kind of candle and they come right back down because there's nothing to support it. There's nothing to support, and you got to be really careful about those, especially if there's some selling in the background. Okay, which there is. Large professional selling, shooting mass retail. I'm not here to teach you guys how to scalp and chase candles, okay? But I am here to show you what it looks like when the game is actually changing. So let's look at NAM. But I've already done the hard work for you guys, so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, what chart was this on? That's a daily chart. So we'll use a daily chart. Okay. All right, so our possible strong professional selling, where are we at? What is price today, right now? Okay. You're not going to catch me buying right now. You are not going to catch me buying at this price. I wouldn't. No. Why would I not want to short this right now? I wouldn't want to buy this because it's not. We already did the work. We already showed you there's no money in here that can sustain this. Okay, so that makes this up move dangerous to buy. Okay, so at the very least, I wouldn't want to. That's me. I don't want to be caught on the wrong side without the juice. Okay, show me somebody who's gonna get in that boxing ring and can go 12 rounds, all 12 rounds. Okay, because there's a lot of showboaters that can go a round or two, but they don't got the juice to go the distance. Or sure, if you have a reason to get in, if it was me, I'd find a way to get out. I wouldn't be in it, but if you're in it, okay, then you're more scalping. You got to have some kind of intra reason to get out of there. Okay, structurally, I don't see this going to the moon, or at least sustaining to the moon. There's a lot of cryptos that will take off, and the candle chasers will help do this, but those are the ones that are the most volatile. Okay, so if you see this come down, you're going to kick yourself in the butt for not taking profit sooner. You can, if you're looking for the tops, there are as follows, okay? We can do a few of them. Okay, number one, you got your original there. Now, I definitely don't want to short and try to reverse position because there may be a battle here and it could last a long time. I got to have a reason to short. I don't have a reason to short, and I don't have a reason until I can confirm that selling, by the way. I would probably short this if I can confirm that. So if price moved into there, the possible selling would come in, and then maybe we have a reason to short. But right now we don't have any reason to short. If you're holding on, you are at a resistance based on the old flat. That is responsive. I'm going to show it to you quickly. Look at this. I'm going to draw it with my fingers. Round structure. Hit. Down move. Flat. It makes sense? So if I'm up without a reason, the risk is very high that I can find myself back in danger. At the appropriate time, that's about this. We do have evidence already that the professional sellers were in large, but no buyers. So I'm only looking at this, probably saying this is probably retail. Because buying doesn't happen on the up moves by the professionals. Almost never. It happens on the down move. In downtrends. In the down bars with accumulation in the background. Or moves into health. You do have this move into health, and if you're connecting all these, you could say maybe that's our move into health, and maybe that's your bullish pushing. Sure, it's your bullish pushing. Still not a reason for me to buy. Not my cup of tea. But if you were trying to connect it, you could say, oh yeah, that's your bullish pushing, and maybe that's your good enough reason to buy. Not enough a good reason for me to hold. If you like it, do it. But if I'm at a poker game, too rich for my blood. So you're going to have to make a decision about what you're going to do. But these are the two opportune moments. Probably at the leveled off parabolic, apart from the noise, 0084 to 0079. That's number one. And then I'll put this number here on the right side so you can see it. And then I'm going to remind you of one more thing, because I'm not here to tickle your ears or anyone's ears. Okay, I'm going to remind you of one more thing. Okay. How many players played here? Let's see. We got game from October 25th all the way down to October 26th. Even these guys here who bought this, all of these players lost money. And there's two big places where they're going to react. Two big places. Under the parabolic, which is number one. The psychological average. The flat, where they were acceptable. The DP. These are all the areas by which we're going to be looking. These guys are really supposed to be responding here. And we have very high volume there. This could be some selling there. Profit taking. These guys at the flat is the best price. They've been out of the money for so long. Oh, and it's farther than this, right? It's back here. These guys lost, and they've been down for a long time. They started feeling the burn under here. It's been down for some time, since February. They're very scared. They want out. And you're going to see price respond, or supposed to see price respond here. Because that's approximately the psychological average when these players who played all up here and were thinking that was the top, now they're really, especially these guys up here. So we're going to calculate for them just real quick the DP as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a conservative DP just to the core on this daily chart. And let's just kind of see where these guys are at. Oh, would you look at that? Even these guys who bought in this oscillation are out in pain. So that would explain why we have resistance here. And that would explain why we have resistance here. This is the next areas. So my money is that this is going to catch up to them. If you can't continue going higher and you phase into weakness, especially without the making in the background, I think that's going to be just some warnings I'm going to just throw out there for you guys. This is the kind of stuff that can get you guys in big trouble if you don't respond quick enough when it's time. Okay, when it's quick enough. Not quick enough to catch those. I'm not teaching you guys to catch those. But if you don't take profit when you're supposed to, like these guys, when it was up, the DP, that's all they got. There was no money to sustain it. No money. Nothing. Okay, the only players you got was the up bars, up moves. That was sellers, and they were hidden in there. They were like, I'm done. See the up bars, up moves. So understand who you're playing against. Okay, one of the easiest things that happens in the casinos is we're lulled into this. We often get lulled into times at casinos where we start winning, and that's one of the worst things that can happen. Because if we win when we're not supposed to, we think we're invincible. It happens. So whatever we do, we can have some winning trades that go against the grain. Keep in mind the game. Keep in mind when your luck really is changing and when it's just luck. Okay? When things are sustainable, when things are not sustainable. Because that's going to keep you in health. And that's what I said last time back in January. Okay? Update. This crypto continued to move down. So I didn't see large players entering bullish positions. So I wasn't convinced by that up move. And I'm not convinced by this one. But that's my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. I wasn't convinced then. I'm not convinced now. I'm actually warning just the opposite. Well, this don't got the juice. So stuff like that don't have the juice. You guys want to remember that's the most riskiest. You may have to play a slot machine and win big, guys. But slot machines are very risky. 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. If you don't see this, it's not a long-term thing. And stuff like this isn't. You're looking at those moves like I showed you earlier in WikiCat, where there was accumulation and prices was moving structurally into health. Then there was lack of it. There was more accumulation, but then there was absorption. You're looking for all those principles. Now, I will say one last thing. There will be teachers that will teach you to scalp some of that stuff. If you have those kinds of teachers, respond quick when you do, because that's, again, some of this stuff that doesn't have sustainability may have short-term profitability. And if you're only getting those small moves, like I should say small because some of them will be very profitable. But if you're only having those small time frame moves, you got to move quick. Okay. So you can use sword method charts to see like where's those big areas. You're at one. There's another one up here. And that's where you're at right now. Okay. So I hope that helps you guys. iPad says, since its resistance, would you partly deride by selling some or all? Are you asking about NOM? iPad? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, if it was me, I'd get out. I wouldn't be in it. I don't like trades like that. That's me. Okay. So if I was up in profit and I know that I'm being very lucky, or at least without the juice, I'm looking to get out at resistance areas for me. So for me, it'd be all. But that's because I don't have a reason to be in. Apart from maybe the health. And maybe there's some buying here on the down bar. But you gotta see who you're playing against. Okay. If there was any buying, it's gonna be after the support. Bullish pushing. Maybe there's some buying here on the down bar. But this buying can be offset easily by the profit taking. See how this volume almost eats up all that one on the down bar with nothing in the background to continue? So that's what makes the game dangerous for me. So if you guys see these candles come back down all in a single day, it'll be very much in pain. So consider those two areas. Consider these areas. This is about where the parabolic levels off, 0.084, 0.079. Current price is 0.069. So you got how much percentage? 24% left if you're going to do that. Otherwise, this is one of the best prices to get out, to take your profit, because that's going to be a pretty strong zone. That's what I would do. If it was me, I'd be like, I'm out. But that's me. Okay? I wouldn't be in any way though. And I'm proud of you guys you guys take some risks and you're doing your trades. Watch for your areas where you need to respond. Okay. All right. Anything else? And these maps, guys, you guys can keep drawing these maps because they're going to help you. Remember, not everybody trades the same systems I use, but you guys are benefiting if you build a map. Okay. Build your maps, see your areas, respond. If you have a different trading system, you're doing Elliott Wave, you're doing scalping, you're doing intraday stuff, you're doing all that. A sword method is completely compatible because it's just going to reveal to you the larger story. It's going to reveal to you the maps where the important lines are, and then whatever system approach or indicators you guys are using, you can use them. Okay, as long as you have a reason. That's the most important thing. Okay, I'll trade stuff that you guys aren't trading. You'll trade stuff I'm not trading. You have a reason. Your reasons may be like 100% fundamental, or 100% prophetic, or 100% technical, or 100% micro scalping type. I don't care. As long as you have your reason, I'm proud of you. Father, we thank you for this day. And I pray that you sharpen our skills. I pray that you would make us, increase us in all the reasons why we trade or do or build what we build. For such as ministry, such as life, such as our callings, such as even marriage. You've called people to different areas. You called people to different aspects of life. And may they thrive where you send them. May they thrive in what they're growing, what they're doing, what they're learning. I pray that we would thrive. And may we increase. I thank you for all your help, Lord, with the maps. I thank you for helping us with our interpretations. And let us be strong and let us be wise in our dealings. As the Proverbs 31 woman says, she saw her trading is profitable. And may our trading be profitable. Pray that you would heal my body. And I pray that you would restore all of us and our health. And I pray that you would let us have a great day, great week, rest for the birth and the delivery of my new son or daughter. I pray that everything goes very smooth. My wife Melody is protected. I pray that you would birth a new member of the Song family and perfect peace and health. And guard the baby. Guard the life against every evil that is trying to be perpetrated in our wind, in our air, water, in our food. Lord, the scripture says if they take anything harmful, it will not hurt them. And we cover and pray the scripture over them. Lord, I pray that you give us wisdom in all matters, in all of our dealings. We love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.